Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Today we are going to make another 12-inch pancake coil record thing. This is the one I made previously. It's 2 records and then there's a flat pancake coil. Looks something like this. Well, that's interesting. Looks something like this, but it's this size obviously. Yep. Now I've misplaced my double-sided tape. I don't know how for the life of me I've managed it, but I've misplaced my double-sided tape. So today I'm going to just try and glue it down, and as I go. It could get messy, but we will see. Okay, I have a coil of black and I have a coil of red. So what I've done is I've taken one of these 25-meter coils and I've laid it out on the garden nice and flat as I can, and then split it all the way along, and then I've wrapped it onto these 2 bobbins, I suppose you call them, and I've got screws on the table. So I've got one screw. Let me just make sure I'm not too crazy here. What's going on? Ah, sod it. I've got one screw on this side, I've got one screw on that side, screwed into the table, and I have a screw in the centre of my disc. And this is going to be so horrible. I might start off, I've got a small double-sided tape, I might get it started with a small piece of double-sided tape just to get it secured at the beginning, because you got to have an anchor somewhere, don't you? It's got to be stuck down somewhere. So we might just use a little bit of double-sided tape for the first couple of turns. Double-sided tape is a bitch to cut. Anyway, there we go, because it always sticks to my scissors. So we'll get those 2 strips down there and peel off the backing. Bam, bam. And like I say, so once I've got it started, I'm just going to start painting it with PVC glue and see if it works out for me. Let me just double check my turns. Which way am I going? I've got another record to put on top. Once it's made, I will sandwich them between the 2 records. Good. Which way am I going? It's going around this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. So that means I'm going that way, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way. So let's get started, shall we? Where's the end of my black? This is why it's so important to where's the first part of my black? This is why it's so important to have your your wires on properly to start off with, because it makes it a lot easier. You don't want to get tangled up in the end here. Oh, is this the end? Ah, got it now, I understand. I was cleverer than I thought I was. Good. I was cleverer than I thought I was. So we just make sure that's wrapped on nicely, and then we shall begin. It starts off, really don't want to go the wrong way with this. Good. We get the black on first. Actually, you can do them both at the same time pretty much, so I'll bring the red over as well, because that's the end. Now I understand. Okay, that's the end of the red. So we can sit them both basically next to each other, maybe give them a bit more length for the connections when it comes to it. Stick them both down, bam, on the double-sided tape. As I say, I've never done it this way before, so it'll be fun. And I try and get a basic kind of circle going. We'll get to the start of the glue section, and then I will fast forward it. But this is basically it. I'm going to have to figure out a way of keeping these bad boys out of the way, aren't I? I'm going to have to stick him on something. Stick I'll just deal with it for now. I find you don't need to worry too much. I mean, yeah, try and make it into a perfect circle at the start, but it kind of sorts itself out in the end. So you just keep turning, basically. Put your red in one hand and your black in the other hand, and make sure you're pushing down nice and firm as you're going around to make sure it gets a good stick. That's it basically. I mean, if I had double-sided tape this would go a lot easier, but I have, like I say, I've mislaid the double-sided tape at present, so we got to that section. I suppose I could do it in strips, because I am really very afraid of trying. I'm not going to get sticky. Fuck it, I'm not getting sticky. I'm going to do it in some. I'm going to do it in strips. I'm going to do it in strips, and that will just make it a little bit more reliable. But obviously, as you get closer to the end, because you can see the strips are. You get further apart, don't they, as you go along, so it's not ideal. I guess I'm going to have to put some, oh hello, put some more strips in between these ones. Go in like this way, put another strip in there just to try and limit the amount of gaps that is not sticky. Once it's done, I will then glue the top and stick the top on, stick the other record on, and then that will be wonderful. But ideally, like I said, ideally I would cover the whole thing with strips of double-sided tape, but I haven't got a clue where it's gone, and no doubt I will find it as soon as I finish doing this now. No doubt it's in plain sight, but as things are, sometimes it's hard to see these things anyway. So yeah, I'm just very interested in the magnetic effect of these coils, because they're flat, completely flat. You can definitely feel like you can feel the what they call it, is it toroid? You can feel the toroid shape of it. Let's get this as close as I can in here. When you're holding a magnet above it and pulsing it, you can feel, and you definitely get an idea, or at the very least, I mean I can't see it, I don't have the correct tools to be able to see the magnetism, but you can definitely sense at very least like a cone. A lot of people talk about a vortex going towards the centre, or a donut shape, and obviously it goes through the other side and comes back in again. I'm very interested in that sort of situation, and also I'm interested in God, this is a bitch. I'm interested in resonating them together and just effects like that. I put this one under my pillow and it resonated at the resonant frequency, and like, I'm a grown man but I had a nightmare. And it wasn't just a nightmare, it was one of those, like, I mean I never have nightmares ever. I never have nightmares, touch wood, but I had to wake up and turn the lights on. I had to wake up and turn the lights on because it was it was interesting. You know, you see the way AI is going, where like anybody can imagine you ask somebody, what do you want to draw? And they're like, I want to draw a violin eating noodles. And it's like, bam, there you go. There's a picture of a violin eating noodles. So pretty much anything that anybody wants, they can create. Now, of course, it's still limited by our ability to choose things. But what if you could create something that could actually give you nightmares? And these nightmares are not like, you know, like a scary movie nightmares. These nightmares are something that comes from in you, speaks to you at the very most you level, like more you than you even know, you know, talking about like the subconscious fears and things like that, as a learning experience, you know, not just about being scared, because obviously some people like to get scared, they enjoy being scared, but you know, that seems to be what we're trying to create. We're trying to create tools that enable people to express themselves. And why do people want to express themselves? Because people have shit going on inside them that they got to get out. They got to put it outside of themselves to be able to look at it and see it, and then move on or let go or whatever it is that they need to do with that. You know, personally, art for me is always a personal thing. I make art for myself as a tool to enlighten myself to some kind of issue or such like that I have. So anyway, now we play the sticky game of the really sticky game of getting this coil wound. So I'll fast forward and you can see the results. Okay, so that was not fun, but it's in place. It's not 100% happy stuck down because I thought I would put the glue on, but then it turned out that the glue actually stopped the tape from sticking and there. So anyway, I'm gonna get the the next one put on, and then it'll all be solid in and there'll be no problems with it. But it's just making it keep its shape at this point. That's important. I'm getting the centre in. Make sure that screw can come out. Yeah, that's a point as well. Make sure the screw can come out. And that's going there. I'm going to glue this on top. Get my hands nice and filthy. No doubt. Try not to glue a pair of scissors on it. Excuse me, scissors. Put that there for now. Did you ever watch that Lloyd Stovall situation where he's powering the solar panel using LEDs that power the solar panel? I mean, if any of it works, then that must work, you know, it has to work. But ultimately all we're doing is we're taking electricity and turning it into electromagnetic spectrum, and then turning it back into electricity out. So if you can take electricity and turn it into light, which is part of the electromagnetic spectrum, and then turn it back again into electricity, and through efficiencies and input from the ether, maybe I don't want to do this with this on here, do I? Maybe I don't want it on the screw. I didn't think about this. Maybe I don't want it on the screw when I put this down in here. Nonetheless, it is going down in here. Just don't want it to like go nuts on me. There you go, that's good enough, eh? How do this game? Here we go. So we'll let that dry, and then we'll tape up the edges and then create the center taps and all that shabalabal. Thanks for watching.